Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So things have changed for me with the Soviet medium tank line. It used to be the T-44 branched to the Object 140 and the T-62 back in the old days before the Empire and before Joe Biden. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So now to get the Object 430, it used to be a tier 10. Now it's a tier 9. You have to go through the T-44 now unlocks the Object 430 and it unlocks the T-54. So things have changed around a fair bit. So I had to go back to the T-44 and play it again. And luckily I was able to use some of these blueprint things that I don't fully understand yet either to make it so I could get the Object 430 for less. And I just got that tank all set up and rocking about, yesterday? And it was pretty boss awesome, and my very first game I had on it was great. I think I'm really gonna like that tank. It kind of feels like a T-54, but meaner, smaller, and just as fast with better armor. So, like the usual power creep thing that's been going on in World of Tanks for the past however long here. So the T-44 coming back to it after a long time. I remember like playing it a long time ago. I didn't particularly love it. I think that I've refined my game a little bit since then, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more coming back to it after playing 15, 16,000 games. And I'm stupid. I pulled out broadside. I keep forgetting that these Japanese tanks. Don't have that much experience playing against them. I keep forgetting that they can do 800 damage even at tier 6, it is what it is. So I took huge damage there, and it cost me this game. That hit there, that mistake was dumb. I should have been more careful coming around on that corner. Maybe use the zoom out camera that they have that I'm still getting used to as well, to see if he was aiming at my tank. So the T-44, I've got it set up with like the usual kind of medium setup that I have, which is a vertical stabilizer and what else is it? Vents and maybe a rammer or something like that. So it aims pretty quick. It doesn't bloom too bad when you're driving around, and it's generally a pretty good little tank. It's overall seems fairly balanced, unlike the tank that I'm shooting at right now, the Progetto 46. That tank is not balanced whatsoever at all, which is why it gets used by so many meta gamers who only play meta tanks. And it's used heavily in frontline and stuff. Like if you look at the people that win in frontline, it's like almost exclusively people that play, oh, I got the Defender and the Progetto 46 and the Kranwagen and all these other tanks that are just completely not balanced well and mostly just broken. So yeah, I'm actually pretty much like the T-44. I was thinking like I'd come back here, I'd slog through it because I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but I generally like it. I'm probably going to keep it around just in case I need to use it for frontline or whatever tier 8 game mode that happens to come around. And yeah, more or less is pretty good little tank. I don't really have too much bad to say about it. Like the hull armor is not super fantastic, which I'm gonna find out in probably about 2 minutes. The gun accuracy seems pretty solid. It's not amazing. Like it's not a German tank, but I mean I'm reversing and shunting my hull around and stuff, and it seems to be working pretty okay. Yeah, I don't have too much bad to say about it. I kind of wish there was more tier 8 Soviet medium tanks. I mean, there's the one that pretends it's a T-54. It's got the T-54 hull, and then it's got the T-44 turret. And then there's the one with the side skirts. I'd like to get my hands on the side skirt one, because I think it looks cooler. I'm not sure if it's better. I need to look at it in the Tankopedia or whatever to see if it's good or not. But it would be pretty cool to get. And this guy, I didn't aim the shot whatsoever, and I don't know, it kind of looked like the shot was going to hit him, but it did not. And then he just disappears behind the hill, and I never see him again. He never kind of pops out and shoots me in the back like I would be. I would be shooting I'd be shooting me in the back a whole bunch of times here. And this is where I probably should have side scraped, but I kind of thought that the only part I was showing was my upper hull, and it was angled fairly well, so he might not be able to pen it, but I guess he probably has it like a tier 9 gun or something like that, and he did pen it, and I died. So 2 big mistakes for me. Paid more attention to how you're angling. That's that's what I need to do. I need to stop trying to play so recklessly. I need to just slow down a little bit and play a little more tactically, because one of the things I found when I'm like I do play, like, I'm fairly competitive World of Tanks. Like, I want to win. What I have found, like, when I watch other good players play, is most of the time they just will allow other players to spot things for them, and they'll shoot up everything that they can before they're willing to trade their hit points for doing damage to other tanks. And that's kind of works, and it kind of doesn't sometimes, but that's just kind of what I've observed just watching some people play. So this tank is like a dream matchup. Like, I'm top tier, and I'm fighting there was quite a few tanks down here, but it was just easy pickings here. I just wanted to get rid of the T-29 because he was the most dangerous tank to me, and then it was really just a shooting gallery. It was just over and over and over again shooting, and I'm gonna pop around, and I'm gonna try and take up the T-29. So now he's gone. And there was a fairly dangerous tank destroyer in the back as well, so I wanted to shoot him. There's another tank destroyer right in front of me, so I'm going to pop out and I'm going to shoot him. The T-44's gun hasn't really evolved too much. Like, it still only has like 180 pen, which is probably what tier 8 medium tanks should have. But I've noticed that there's a lot that have like 220 pen now and stuff, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. So I'm just going to come around, shoot this guy, use my E-brake to bring the tank around one more time, and just kind of lock him in place, do some damage, and get a little bit of tracking damage. And now I'm going to pull out in front of this guy. He's not aiming at me, so I'm just going to back out. And there's guys that want to just drive in front of him, so I guess he just wants to shoot them. So I'm just putting as much damage in as I can, and I was a little bit worried about that guy to the right, but I can see this guy's weak spot, so I just shoot it again. And you can see at the bottom of the hill that there's some of my friends down there, so I decide to maneuver the tank around. And I'm not as familiar with the new equipment, and I haven't tried the rotation devices and stuff. I did put a turbo on this tank, and I'm glad that I did, because I like how much more maneuverable and fast it is just to get up and get moving. So I'm going to zip around this guy and hit the E-brake and just kind of plop in behind him. I love the maneuverability of it, and even on the Object 430, I do have the tracks, but I don't have the uprated engine yet. That tank, I also put a turbo on, and I'm glad I did, because it honestly didn't feel like it was that bad, just stock. So I'm going to come around here, and of course he's got his gun pointed at me, and I hit him in the tracks, and he pens me, and I'm looking a little bit more like I could die, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful, and I'm going to try and track down this light tank. And yeah, it was a fairly high tempo game. I felt I could just kind of push my way through most of this stuff, and I didn't fear too much of anything that was on the enemy team. This is kind of a dream matchup, and it's not. This isn't a review and me putting myself in the hardest situations possible or anything. It was just some of the more fun games I had while I was grinding through this tank to get to the tier 9s. So I locked down the Lion, and I probably could have just driven around the corner and shot him, but you know, these guys were farming him, so it didn't. I don't know. I don't really care about racking up my damage to. I probably could have hit 4,000 in this game, but it was enough to hit mastery, which was nice because I had never received that previously when I was playing this tank, and that was back when I only had about 2,000, 4,000 games played, because that was when I would play this tank before, so I didn't fully understand the game that well. I didn't know all the maps and understand some of the weak spots and stuff. So it's been interesting. So the next stuff I'll try and show off is a bit of the tier 9 gameplay with the Object 430. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.